Cristiano Ronaldo didn't start, even though Anthony Martial was injured. And Cristiano Ronaldo's just seen Rashford or Elanga just selected over him. I know Cristiano Ronaldo is not happy with that. And I don't think there's any way he stays at United in the next 5 days.
Knowing Cristiano, I know for a fact that he will be absolutely fuming right now. Forget who's starting in front of him, that he's not starting. I don't think he'll go, because I just don't think there's anybody going to be able to pay his wages.
Bruno Fernandes is playing better without him in the team.
I think there are players that want the spotlight, want to be the main man. I think Bruno's one of them. It's not to a detriment, that's not a negative thing. I just think some people like to feel the responsibility, want the armband on their shoulder, want to feel like, yeah, I'm the guy.
They can never do it like I. When you see man pull up and slide, man stepped in a room with legends, Rio and Ste, you know it's a vibe. Check the podcast, what you wanna know? Don't ask me, go and ask Joe. If you're talking Premier League, he's on the front line and I gotta go. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. Vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know this.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with this week's episode of Vibe with Five. You got here myself, 12-point Joel Bayer. You got here 6-point Rio Ferdinand and 6-point Stephen Housen. Well done on the meaty 1-0 win against Southampton this weekend. Okay, cool. Let's get into it, because I know you guys want to talk about it. I had Steve texting me, Man United are back. Lisandro Martinez, man of the match performance. I don't really care, but I understand that there's people on this channel that do care. So go on, Rio. I want you to give me your thoughts on Man United's performance this weekend. A little bit meaty in my opinion, but it's always good to hear what you have to say.
Yes, guys, morning. Good to see you, Joel. Got the shades on. Obviously been to Carnival this weekend. Look at the state of your eyes behind that. It's the only reason you can be wearing shades, man. But you know what? It's mad. I mean, United, obviously after the Liverpool game, everyone was like, are they going to win? Are they going to get the result? Are they going to perform? You could say it was an average performance. Those performances were nothing too dissimilar to what we used to do when we used to go away to opponents sometimes, where you grind the result out and you get in and get out, keep a clean sheet, and you're happy going back up the motorway to Manchester. And then under the current circumstances, I thought it was a fantastic result and a very solid and decent performance, which was very much needed after the game against Liverpool, where it's not hard to get yourself up for a game against Liverpool like that when the stadium was bouncing. I wasn't at the stadium, but people I've spoken to said, listen, it was like a throwback to 10, 15 years ago when the success was there in my time, when the place used to absolutely rock. And it hasn't had that energy for years. So to see that, and the guys, the way the players responded to the crowd and got the result, the next result was always going to be critical to continue the rebuild of confidence, of character, of personalities, obviously aligning to the manager's tactical approach now. And I think it's important that the players got the result, but it's important also that the players continue getting that winning feeling and you can only create the culture also while you start getting positive results as well. As much as the manager wants to talk and to say this, that, and the other tactically and build this and that behind the scenes, he needs the results to back up what he's preaching in the training sessions. And he's had that the last 2 weeks, and long may it continue.
Steve, the side never changed. It was the same side that you faced against Liverpool. Is it fair to say that this is what we're going to be seeing for the majority of the season, obviously with Casemiro coming in for McTominay?
Well, I would assume Antony comes in. I don't think you spend 100 million euros and just sit the guy on the bench. I think that would be a strange move. I was a little disappointed, right? A lot of people were saying you don't change a winning team. Well, of course you do. Of course you do. Of course you can change a winning team when the whole tactical nature of probably wanting to have, I know it ended up being 50-50 in terms of possession, but you're probably expected to have more of the ball. Southampton like to play without the ball, where we had like 30-something% possession against Liverpool. It's an entirely different game of football. So I wanted to see us go and maybe dominate the ball a little bit, and I thought we'd have done that better without Scott McTominay. I understand the reasons for maybe not starting Casemiro, but there's other players that you could have played. Donny van de Beek still can't get a shirt, despite the man coming from Holland that actually give him his start in football. Like, I would like to have seen United try to dominate the ball, Yes, you've got to be wary of Southampton hitting you on the counter. And they had a couple of periods in the game where they was very, very dominant with it. But like Rio said, winning 1-0 is awesome because you've always had to fight for a 1-0. You've always had to show character.
Stop it.
What?
Winning 1-0 is awesome. I understand.
Rio, tell me which manager used to say winning 1-0 was the best.
You built your legacy on 1-0s. Don't even try it, please. Your whole legacy.
No. In the beginning, boring Arsenal. I know it. Yeah.
Don't try and go on that nice way. The current circumstances, Man United take a 1-0 away at Southampton. Trust me, all day long.
No, you do. Because to be honest with you, I had you as losing 1-0. If I'm to be very honest with you. So in regards to that, I did. I told you.
Together.
I told you. Like, listen. Sorry, go on. Carry on, Steve. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Awesome win. Go on.
Yeah, I think United's team will change. I think it'll evolve. I think they'll want to hold more possession. I think what he's bought in Casemiro and what he's bought in Martinez and hopefully in Antony as well. We'll have to see how that goes. He's bought some character, and United sorely needed character. And I think these two are going to bring that. He was only on the pitch for like 10 minutes, but Casemiro was just everything he did was a correct decision. Everything he did was. Everything Martinez is doing is front foot defending, and everything that Casemiro does is front foot defending, and I love that. I don't really like the passive sit off, let it happen, deal with it last minute stuff. I like to go and get at teams, and I think the way Ten Hag wants to bully and squeeze and press, I think they both really suit what he's about.
I agree in that, but also I would say that not changing the team is allowing people to build relationships. And I think that's a huge part of it. It's not necessarily who we think's the best player or whatever. It's sometimes who plays best together within the system that he's got and in the team that he's trying to create. And it goes back to, we spoke about it on BT, the centre-back partnership. He's played them twice now together. And you look at that and you go, whoa, Harry Maguire's sitting there probably scratching his head thinking, not even about United as much. He's probably thinking United immediately now, but he's obviously looking long term and thinking England. I could be not in the England team because I won't be playing here if this continues. If these two strike up the partnership that looks like it's kind of mustering up together now, I won't play for not only for Man United, but England's going to be a problem for me. So if I'm Harry Maguire, there's a concern for me there. But I think Erik Ten Hag has to be selfish and think about only one thing in Man United, and that's it. And I think the way he spoke about Varane after the first game, his experience and what he brought to the team and what he brought to the other players, I think is quite telling that he's going to be the first name on the team sheet in terms of a defender. And it's who Martinez has got the shirt at the moment. And it's like, he doesn't look like he's going to let that go. I love his energy. There's a lot about him that reminds me of Gabriel Heinze. He's on the front foot. He's aggressive. I think he's probably a bit better on the ball, bit better of a pass appreciation. But there's a lot of that tenacity and that Argentinian doggedness and ruggedness that he comes with. And he's going to be tested. He's going to have harder games. Che Adams gave him a tough game at the weekend, but he came through it. Everyone keeps talking about his height, 5'9". You can't get away from that. He's small for a centre-half in England. But at the moment, he's ticking the boxes and he's answering the questions. Yes.
Rio, he's won more aerial duels than anybody else in the league.
I get that, but he hasn't played against a Haaland. He hasn't played against Chris Wood. He hasn't played against... I went through it the other day with Crouchy, because Crouchy said, listen, I'll be licking my lips, Ree. If I'm playing against him, I am not playing anywhere else on the pitch other than against Man United's left-hand side. They got massive...
Crouchy didn't jump when he jumped, though. He jumped and he sort of folded in half and his head stayed the same height.
Yeah, but he didn't need to jump. He just said, I'd go and stand there and play the ball into me and not one of them would win the ball near me. And that's true, but there isn't a Crouchy in the league. But you've got big strikers in other teams that would fancy their chances against him. Now they've got to go and do that. And he's aggressive. He puts people off. He puts his body against people. And so, yeah, I think if the game's a little bit different to when we played, though. We played, listen, you play against Kevin Davis, against Crouchy, etc. These players, Duncan Ferguson, they would pick the weak point or the small guy in the team and go and stand on them. It doesn't really happen as much nowadays because the game is a little bit more free-flowing and structured and about passing and rotations, etc. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'm sure, sitting there and thinking, please let me be fit against Man United because I see chances back post against those two. So that is something they'll have to combat, and I think that's where Ten Hag's tactics come in. He wants to press the game and not allow teams time on the ball to be able to play balls into those dangerous areas where it may cause them problems, maybe. So we'll see. But at the moment, you can't argue he's ticking the right boxes.
What did he say to you before the game?
Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Yeah. He come over. He said hello. Listen, the media is such a big thing in the game. He knows that we're there and we have a big kind of voice and a big platform to speak. Obviously with Vibe with 5 and being on BT. So he came over, said hello, hope you're well, etc. Nothing too deep, to be fair. I just said, listen, I just wished him good luck, man. I want him to do well. Every Man United manager that comes in, I'm a fan. I want him to do well. So I wish him the best. He looks like a really focused and intense guy. I see him standing there watching the guys warm up and stuff. And he's a man, he seems of detail, but also he seems like a disciplinarian. He's there to make sure people are doing things right. And speaking to a few of the guys behind the scenes, it's always nice to catch up with the backroom staff and the guys that are there now that when I was there. And the atmosphere behind the scenes seems so much more positive than I've seen it in the last few years. People are smiling. People saying, you know what, it feels nice again. It feels good again. It feels good to be here. So there's a lot of positivity coming out. And as I said, it has to be backed up by results for it to continue.
I was just going to go back to the Martinez stats. He was man of the match. 100% ground duels won, 100% successful dribbles, 61 touches, 48 passes, 7 clearances, 5 out of 5 aerial duels won, and 4 interceptions. That's some top stats, man. I can't even lie. That's really, really good. Especially.
Do you know what, Joe, as well? Yeah. When I watch him and Varane, see the first game against Brighton, the first goal. Danny Welbeck runs across Martinez. Maguire doesn't see it. He doesn't communicate. There's no communication. These two, there seems one's covering, one's going in. Like Martinez wants to go in and wants to go on. What's Steve doing? Martinez wants to go in and wants to be aggressive. Varane's happy sweeping. This seems like a partnership. Their best attributes seem to complement the other one, if you know what I'm saying. So they'd see, and you need to find Malacia's attributes. He's aggressive as well. He gets out to people. He sprints back if someone gets past him. Do you know what I mean? The early signs are very, very
that left back, yeah.
Steve's wanted Maguire and Shaw out for ages.
Yeah. He put a tweet. He put the tweet. What year was it?
Nailed it.
What year was the tweet, Steve?
Oh, about 1994.
This guy, man.
I think it's. Oh no, it was October. It was October 2020.
Before we go back to focusing on the crutches of the match, pre-match, my friend Ronaldo squirts water on my ankle. Mates. You know what I mean?
He saw I had suede shoes on it. He saw my drip was looking unbelievable. The wardrobe was phenomenal on the day. Perfect for the.
Which Caribbean island you thought you was on holiday in when you was at work?
I mean Southampton near the water. What was you want,
mate?
You know what I mean? I'm near the docks.
You know, one of the guys on the tweet said Rio looks like a soldier, like looking like you've been hitting the gym.
Someone said, "Has Rio cut down his suit that he signed in?"
Yeah.
You know what it was? It was he saw the clothes and he thought, I can't let Rio come here and overshadow me just with his clothes before the game. So he started spraying water on my suede shoes, bro. I almost got him in a headlock. I got to be honest.
Nah, you looked like you was gonna turn around and slap someone. Then you realized it was CR7. You went, oh, the retainer.
So you know what? As well, did anyone see the clip of me, Crouchy, and Scholesy playing 2-touch?
Nah, I missed it.
Oh, mate, the standard was unbelievable. Then when the cameras came on and it went live, Crouchy, mate, hit off his shins. It was unbelievable.
Is it? And that's why he didn't play for Man United. Good.
Speaking of the throwback, it was just the anniversary, wasn't it, of your joining United last week?
Yeah, 20 years,
with
man.
That stupid blonde haircut.
20 years.
Yeah.
Can we bring that blonde haircut back if we win the league?
If we win the league, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we win the league, I'll do it. I could be a very old man by then.
Do you know what though? Man. It's all love though, isn't it? Because we've just won the league.
Exactly.
I was
20 years, man. It's like I didn't realize it was that long, but it's nostalgic, man. It makes you sit there and go, "Whoa, beautiful times, great times." And like Nani said on a previous interview we done last week, like those times are some of the best times you'll ever have in your life. So just remember them with joy and a smile. So it's good.
Do you know what it is? Before I go back to Bruno Fernandes, I want to say during those times, Rio, it's like, see when Haaland signs for Man City, obviously as Man United fans, you don't want Man City to win the league, but you can't help to be excited, but to be excited when you got such a player signing and you want to see how they're going to, do in the league, how they're going to do in that team. And it felt the same when you signed for United. It's like, all right, let's see what he can do now. He got bought for 18 million, which at the time I thought that's a lot as it is. What is he going to do? Like 30 million pounds? Crazy.
30 million it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. It is like, it's pressure, man. And that's what I'm saying. These new signings, Martinez coming in, he looks like he's not got a bit of pressure. Yeah, it's like he ain't seen the price tag, the way he's moving at Man United. Antony, you hope, comes in at the levels he's coming in, £100 million or roughly around that figure, that he comes in and that doesn't weigh heavy on his neck. Because you look at Grealish last year, he wasn't the same Grealish that played at Aston Villa. So it can weigh heavy. He won the league, so he's happy, so it doesn't matter. But it seems sometimes when players come in under big transfer fees, they don't play with the freedom that they had before. And that can be a couple of things. It can be the price tag weighing heavy and the pressure and the attention on being under the spotlight, a new environment and club and culture that they're not used to, and a team setup that they're not used to. Those three things are big things that come into play when you sign. But you have to have the personality and character to deal with all that. That's a big thing. And so Antony, people forget as well, you're spending that money on Antony. He's not the finished article. He's 22 years old. So he's still you're buying potential really at 22 years old to go in and perform. So he don't expect that he's going to come in and be absolutely fire from the first day.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Rio. Because when we signed Pepe, you was the first guy to me on the blower going, 72 mil, he better perform. So please,
no.
Get the ground running.
Did I say that?
You did. You called me up and you said,
no, you're lying. But what I mean, is that Scholesy said it well the other day. You've got to forget the price tag nowadays because the prices are just stupid. They're outlandish. And judge them for what they are and who they are and at the timing of when they're coming to a club. Martin is just a bit more experienced. And you look at Antony and you go, you know what? He's got a great potential. Let's see what he can do.
I got a question. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't start, even though Anthony Martial was injured. And Cristiano Ronaldo's just seen Rashford or Elanga just selected over him. I know Cristiano Ronaldo is not happy with that, regardless of what you want to say here now, regardless of what he's putting out there into the world. There's no way Cristiano Ronaldo is happy. And I don't think there's any way he stays at United in the next 5 days.
Whether he stays or not, none of us know. But knowing Cristiano, I know for a fact that he will be absolutely fuming right now. Forget who's starting in front of him, that he's not starting. You don't get to do what he's done in his career over this amazing amount of time at the levels that he's been playing, being somebody who's going to sit there and accept not starting and being a sub for a team that ain't in the Champions League. So that you can't sit there, people can't sit there and say, he should be fine, he should be all right, he should just be a team player. For some people, that's cool. But Cristiano Ronaldo not built like that. So you can't expect him to change at 37. It'd have been the same at 21. He won't change. And we were talking again before the game with Scholesy, and we were talking about, I remember when Bex got dropped for a couple of games, when the Madrid game, etc. He's fuming. Superstars are built different. They don't believe they have bad games. They don't believe they don't play well. They don't believe that they get things wrong in the game because they are so hell-bent on success and their belief in their skills and themselves that they don't see failures. They don't see things that go wrong. All it is in their mind is that I know what I bring to the table. And Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever anyone says about running, pressing, etc., he will be sitting there going, I scored 24 goals last year. Talk to me. The hardest thing to do in football is put the ball in the back of the net, and I've done it 24 times last year. How many times did anybody else get near that in this team? He got most Cristiano Ronaldo, and he knows these things, these stats, because he looks at everything, and he'll be going. Also, I got my team more points than any player last year with the goals I scored. 14 points, I think it is that he got. The next person was 12. He got his team more points than anybody. So when people say that he may be at fault, he'll be sitting there going, whether you believe it or not, or you think that he doesn't press or whatever, he doesn't suit the team, he'll be sitting there going, yeah, but who done more than me to get us to the position where he was? That's all he'll be saying. So he will definitely not be. Go on then.
One, Does he stay or does he go?
I think it all depends on if he's going to go to a team. I don't think he'll go, because I just don't think there's anybody going to be able to pay his wages.
I heard Napoli known as a possibility, though.
Yeah, but I think Napoli's only a possibility if Osimhen goes to Man United.
They want us to pay his wages too, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think financially, I don't think it's going to be capable of happening in this window.
Okay, so if he stays, how does he get back? Because Ronaldo sitting on the bench might be absolutely bonkers, and I can't imagine he's nice to be around in training if he's on the bench week in, week out.
I believe that the professional elements in him will come out, and he's calculated and intelligent enough to not want to destabilize the regime. He may be prickly at times, etc., but you will not see a drop in terms of intensity and focus and professionalism. He may not, in terms of engaging with people as much as he did before. I don't think he'll maybe be as. He won't come forward with it as much, maybe, but I don't think he'll be like standoffish and blank people and be an absolute kind of eyesore in the place. I don't think he's like that. And naturally, he likes to have a laugh. As much as people try and paint him as somebody who's a little bit arrogant and kind of abrasive, he actually, you see the clips when he come up to me the other day at BT and Scholesy and Roy the other day. He actually, with his teammates, loves having a laugh. So I don't see that changing. I think he'll. It's hard for people around him, maybe because of the star that he is and the person that they know that his standards are so high, and if he's sub, other people become a little bit awkward around him. And I think that's the problem with a manager. The question the manager has to be able to answer himself: can you deal with having somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo, where every time he doesn't play, eyebrows are raised, and can you control and deal with all of the other things that go around when you don't play him?
That's a good point. He seemed like he was in a professional mood when he was around you, to be fair. And it gave us, the fans, like an insight, football fans, that is, not United fans, an insight on what it's like, you know what I mean, to see the real Cristiano Ronaldo, which and we don't, Yeah. But guys, it's been beautiful talking about Man United. Oh, no, wait. Just before I move on, Rio, just a real quick one on this. Regardless of what you say about Man United, Bruno Fernandes is playing better without him in the team.
Fernandes is playing better. Yes, Ronaldo hasn't played, but also with the armband on his arm. He's got the armband on his arm, and the manager said the other day he seems to respond so well with that responsibility. I think there are players that want the spotlight, want to be the main man. I think Bruno's one of them. It's not to a detriment. That's not a negative thing. I just think some people like to feel the responsibility, want the armband on their shoulder, want to feel like, yeah, I'm the guy. And against Liverpool and against Southampton, he's put in two very good performances. He didn't play particularly well against Southampton, but he was to get the match winner, the deciding factor. His energy levels are good. Tactically, he's been a lot more disciplined this year than I've seen him last year. He's been more disciplined. He's understanding what's needed and what's asked of him, and he's really sticking to it. And Bruno plays like this. He's a top player, 100%, no doubt in my mind.
All right, guys.
I think he's not just more disciplined, but he's playing more of an attacking midfielder than a second striker this year. It's almost like he's only a tiny bit ahead of where Eriksen is, and rather than being an auxiliary centre forward. I just want to say big shout out to United for the pattern that goal came off. I thought it was absolutely beautiful.
Great goal.
Third man run to penetrate, cross into the box. The two other strikers have taken away the entire back four. Midfield's not done its job. Bruno's in space. And it's not an easy finish from there. Straightforward, but not easy.
Hard
Brilliant
finish.
goal.
I mean, if Arsenal scored a goal that beautiful, it'd have been wearing cake. Yeah.
Ree, I don't know if you've been seeing the news, man. This Paul Pogba situation. What is going on? Apparently, his brother is involved in some sort of extortionate scam towards Paul Pogba and his mates as well. Apparently, the incident happened in April or May, They're trying to obtain between 11 to 13 million pounds from him. I don't understand what's going on. You know, his brother's come out and said, well, there's more to the story, talking about which doctors that Pogba went to in regards to Kylian Mbappe. I just don't understand. Do you have any insight on that?
Bro, it sounds like a movie. Like, listen, I genuinely hope that it isn't true. I know and speak to different members of the family, obviously including Paul. So this has come out of nowhere to me, man. Like everyone else, and I'm just thinking, well, this is a Steven Spielberg script that's been written. I just hope there's no real truth in it, and that the family remain close knit, and there isn't this kind of squabbling or incident that's gone on. I just hope this has been a fabricated story that's come out of nowhere. So I'm sure in the coming days, weeks, months, we'll find out a bit more about it. But I genuinely hope. I don't like scandal within families, feuds within families. No one wins. So I genuinely hope that, again, the Pogba family come out of this unscathed, and it's something that's kind of been we're all misinformed of it, and the media have run away with the story that has no legs, we hope.
Have you ever been in a situation where people have tried to like take advantage, or any footballers that you know, because you know people just look at you and they think, yeah, let's cash cow, let's see what we can do. Any friends, anything like that?
No, not extortion. I've seen people. I know people that have been robbed and stuff like that, and know players that have been robbed. We've heard about a few players that have been
robbed. Even robbed in Barcelona.
Aubameyang robbed this week, yeah. So it's happened, but me personally, touch wood, I ain't been involved in nothing like that. But I think sometimes that's why you've got to move carefully when you're on social media these days, and you're showcasing a lot of jewelry and the lavishness that some people show on these platforms. I think you've got to find a good balance of it, because the more you show, the more of a target you become. And there are people out there with red eyes who will be looking and going, you know what, I don't like that. The current climate as well, people are under more stress than they've ever been in terms of financially within their homes. The bills and stuff are going up and going through the roof. So when people are showing off a little bit, or just showing stuff that they've got, I think people got a right to show, but you've got to understand the current climate and where things are. There are people out there that are desperate. There are people out there that are either red eye or desperate and jealous, that don't want to see other people doing that. And so you've got to be mindful of that a little bit. And it's unfortunate, because I think everybody should live the way they want to live, but if the world's not like that.
And you've done really well with the security, by the way. Like top security is important, so I think that's a massive.
Yeah, you know what? I believe that like everyone should have security, like even dogs and stuff. Like I've got mad dogs in my house, and I think people should. If you have the resources to protect yourself and your family. I'm not saying it's going to do everything, and you ain't going to get robbed, but it puts boundaries in place, and a lot of these players have got a lot of resources that they could put people in place to protect them. And I don't see why you wouldn't do that. Anyway, let's move on, Joe. Go on.
Yeah, let's move it on to Arsenal, because you guys want to talk about Arsenal. A fantastic 2-1 win against Fulham. Goals from Odegaard and Gabriel. For Fulham, goals by Mitrovic. Well done, Steve. I'm sure he's still in your fantasy team.
Yep, kill it. Oh, my fantasy team this week needed a fire extinguisher. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, you're on fire.
You know,
Captain Haaland. Yeah, don't worry about it.
I want to talk about the performance, Rio.
What, my dream team or of your relegation?
Forget your dream team. It's all about the badge. When you look at Arsenal's win this weekend, I think for me it meant a lot, because it was a bit similar to what you said about the Southampton game. Yes, you guys had to follow up after the Liverpool game, but for us, you know, 3 games, 3 wins, pressure's on. Arsenal memes are coming out.
Where was it? Where was the game?
It was at the Emirates.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was an important one, because obviously Fulham, they've been all right. We have to give a massive shout out to Fulham, by the way, because we've had Fulham fans like my mate Jake, who keeps complaining to Rio, oh, you're not talking about Fulham. Why are you not talking about Fulham?
Yeah, actually, let's talk about Fulham. Arsenal have only just managed to replicate who did. Was it Forest Green midweek?
Your mate saying, let's talk about Fulham. What's there to talk about?
Let's talk about Fulham.
Yeah, Mitrovic. That's the only thing to talk about over there. Literally.
Sorry, it wasn't. Sorry, let's get it right. It was Crawley Town.
Then
Oh, by the way, they
got
didn't
knocked out back.
concede against them either, Joel. So Crawley Town beat them 2-0. Go on, as you were saying, you beat them 2-1, right?
Yeah, we beat them 2-1, but it was a more high pressure game. Mitrovic.
What do you mean high pressure? You're playing against one of the favourites for relegation.
That's all they played all season.
That's not going to be an easy game. You saw how they played
Crystal
against Liverpool.
Palace.
They've got
Crystal Palace with no pre-season.
They've got
Leicester,
confidence.
are in trouble, mate. Leicester are sinking.
Sentence. You can't say high pressure when you're playing against a relegation favourite.
No. But it was. You know why? Because
at home.
No, listen to what I'm saying. Can we break it down first? We needed to win that game because some people, i.e. people on this channel, were going around saying, oh, Arsenal, it's only a matter of time. Watch what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. You know, so we actually had to show you guys that it's not a fluke. You know, pre-season wasn't a joke. Like I said to you guys last time, pre-season was serious. And we've been able to replicate that form. Games against Palace, you thought we were going to lose. Remember? You thought we were going to lose.
There's a good chance you win 7 on the bounce, in all honesty.
Okay, now you want to change your tone.
In Palace. You've played relegation fodder in Leicester.
We got you.
You've played relegation fodder in Bournemouth. Liverpool nearly put 10 past them. You're out here like, after 3. Then you've played Fulham. Next, you've got Aston Villa. And Stevie G knows I'm coming for him because of how shit he is, right? Then you've got United. And you might get a result against United. You really might. Then you've got Everton. And Frank Lampard's getting it as well because he's shit, right? So you might go and you might only drop 1 point. Or you might even get a draw against United. You were expected to be high up. Wait till you get to October. You're going to be on here with glasses because you're crying.
I'm glad that there's some expectation with my club because you know what? Last year and the season before, you couldn't have even said that with those performances.
Let me read October out, right? This is October in the league only.
Against Fulham last year,
October in the league only, Joel. Are you ready?
It doesn't matter.
Tottenham, Liverpool, Leeds, City, Southampton, Forest. Oh, and Europa League.
Is Gabriel Jesus the signing of the summer? Yes or no so far?
No, Haaland is the signing.
Come on. For that price. For the price that we're looking for.
Haaland was what? £57 million?
Listen, man.
Sandro Martinez is our player of the year. He's only played twice.
Don't be talking about Martinez, mate. Because he's out there getting out-jumped by Ben Mee. We ain't forgot that.
You're saying that Jesus is the signing of the summer. Haaland is coming. How many goals has he banged?
And he not scored in 2 games.
Haaland. But guess what? Yeah. If you look at Gabriel Jesus, even when he doesn't score, his contribution is even higher than Haaland's. It's the truth,
mate.
When it comes to an effect, Rio, Gabriel Jesus coming in the team and Zinchenko, right? They've lifted up our team. They've changed the makeup of the whole club.
Zinchenko didn't even play at the weekend.
No, I'm just saying in general, them being in the team this season. You can act like you don't know. You can act like you don't know, but you know.
I think that Jesus' impact has been unreal, and I think he's been a fantastic signing, an absolute major signing for Arsenal. But please don't go overboard like all Arsenal fans.
Overboard how? How am I going overboard?
You see some of them tweets this morning.
How am I going overboard?
When you've got Haaland banging in a hat-trick at the weekend, and you're going, oh, Jesus is overshadowing him still. What are you talking about?
But he is. In terms of, I'm sorry, but in that team, you would still be scoring hat tricks if you were in that position, man. The
Jesus should have been there. Why has he been sold? Because he won't.
Well, I think he just doesn't fit the character.
Hey, Jones did not play with a striker rather than play this widge.
Oh man! Listen, you guys, I don't even know where you guys are.
What we say about Zinchenko, right? You bought a left back who's not even really a left back when you already had a good left back. This weekend, Arteta's realised it and played Turney.
Listen, no, but obviously he needs game time. That's what happens. We can afford to do that because we're top of the league. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, you can afford to do it because you're playing part-timers.
Arsenal are doing well. You ain't had a test yet.
Very well.
Let's just sit down, take the shades off and relax for a bit.
Listen, you guys, we've got you on the 4th of September. Are you going to be at the game, Steve?
Come to me in October. I'm going to get your actual fixtures up for October.
Are you coming to the game on the 4th, Steve? Yes or no?
I've had enough of Arsenal talk.
Are we what?
Steve, are you coming to the game on the 4th of September? Yes or no?
Yeah, let me just read you what your October looks like.
I don't care.
You've got Europa League fixtures in this, right? You've got to play Bodo Glimt home and away, and you've got to play PSV away. In between playing Tottenham, Liverpool, Leeds, City, Southampton, and Nottingham Forest. Your head is going
to be all right, guys.
Table at best.
We'll be all right.
Oh my God. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. 9 games, Joel. How many of them are you going to win? 2?
We'll be good. Don't worry. No, don't worry. We'll be all right. All right.
Yeah,
Remember
let's
you
move
said
on,
that.
Joel. Move on.
All right. Man City beating Palace 4-2. The battle. Well, I say the battle. Haaland coming in with a hat trick. Listen, man. He was moving monstrous. You see, for that third goal, Rio, where he's telling the man, put the ball here, put the ball here. Like, I'm telling you what, yeah, Ward had no chance. When he came in, he bounced him off, he finished it, and I thought to myself, this guy is an absolute monster.
Steve was talking about how good the centre-back is at Palace. What's his name, the one they got from Fulham?
Which one?
Is he Danish? What's he? Oh, the blonde guy. They bought him from Fulham, the centre-back. Palace have got. How good he is. He's good passing and all that. Huh? Anderson. Watch his defending on that goal. He basically opens up a lane and says, right, play it to him, please. Horrendous defending, like, don't know where he is. And then, to be fair, he bounces Ward off like he's a toddler and just slots it. Like, he scored 3 good goals, 3 different goals, and 3 goals that he's going to get opportunities all through the year. A tap in the 6-yard box, a header in and around the penalty spot, and a ball played through, so he's running onto. Mate, the geezer's going to smash. He's going to smash it. Seriously, I love the way he plays. And you know what I love about him is what we used to do as well. He celebrates every goal like it's a cup winner. It's like he loves it. He absolutely loves it, and the crowd feed off him. And Man City. You saw the way. Did you see the way Pep? We need to get a picture of the way Pep was hugging him. It was how Pep was hugging him. Like he was at a school prom as a kid. You know what I mean? When you hug up, like I'm not letting go. Like them young kids hugs when you're a young kid. It's your first hug that you've ever had in your life. That's what it was like. I ain't letting him go. I've got here. Do you know the crown?
There's Arsenal fans out here saying that Haaland's only going to score 12 goals and Gabriel Jesus is going to get 20. Haaland's already halfway there. We're not even out of August yet. He's going to score a lot of goals. I thought the way City crossed it, when they didn't have a striker, but they had one on the bench. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right? When they didn't have a striker last year, and they chose not to play with a striker because he was shit. Right? when they was crossing the ball into the likes of Foden and stuff like that, you thought, what are they doing? They might have just been preparing for having Haaland come in, because I thought those crosses was always going to be a problem. Do you know those little sort of half-space crosses to the other side? And that's where Haaland's sort of been finding some space, and he is deadly in that area. And I think that's going to be a real asset for City. That's almost a bit of an evolution of how Pep plays. Usually you see him bounce a ball into the inside channel, hit the byline, cross it back to the penalty spot. That's where Aguero scored from. Now they've got this other sort of tool where they're finding loads and loads of space for an absolute machine like they've got in Haaland. It's worrying. You've just got to hope that there's some defensive frailties. Otherwise, like there was against Palace.
Steve, you know what? What the big difference when it's going to be from a tactical standpoint for opposition teams. Before, you could camp in and say to teams, cross the ball. Because they had no one there. Aguero and Jesus, who are both like, they're short of 5'10", right? They're not going to cause you a problem from crosses. Now, if you say we're going to sit back and allow you to cross the ball, you've got Haaland in there who's causing havoc, who's going to be a threat. So teams, if they say, we're going to sit back, Haaland can score from crosses. If they say, no, we've got to go out and stop the cross, that creates then spaces within that back four, in and around, behind it, etc., for players like Foden, players like Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne to run into, and Haaland himself. The problems they're giving teams now are more even than what they were giving last season. So God help everybody.
You know what? I want us to quickly touch on Crystal Palace, Ree. Eze, do you think he's finally ready to take the mantle if Zaha decides to leave?
Yeah, I think other players will breathe as well, a bit heavier, bit more. Sorry, they'll be a bit lighter, because I think Zaha's the man there. He runs the place, and rightly so, because he's put down the groundwork and crazy performances and goals over the years. Fan favourite. Once he leaves, them other young guys that they've got in there, Elise, Eze, etc., they'll be able to grow and become the focus and the focal point of that team. Eze's got a ridiculous talent, great balance, great runner with the ball, great passing and weight of pass. But Palace, if they lose Zaha, man, it's a big loss for them. I was saying that Chelsea are interested in him. I think I'd love to see him go to a big team and get another chance of being at a big team and have an impact. He done it. It didn't work for him at Man United. He's gone back to Palace, rebuilt himself again. I think because of the hard work he's put in and the performances he's put in over the years, he's a determined young guy. He's he's worked to deserve this opportunity now to go to someone like Chelsea if we are right in hearing what we're being reported.
Now, focusing on another smaller team, shall I say, because apparently we don't focus on the smaller teams enough. Liverpool beating Bournemouth 9-0. Absolute madness. Like, I felt sorry for Scott Parker at the end, you know. Did you see the post-match interview?
They're my favourite to go down. They're going down.
Yeah.
Where did you predict them to go down? You said 20th. I said 20th. I think everyone said 20th. That's why no one was getting gassed up when you lot beat them 3-0 last week. They're shit.
Yeah, they're going down. I feel sorry.
They're a championship team.
Their recruitment never done enough. You look at the difference, the contrast in recruitment between them and Nottingham Forest. Like both opposite ends of the spectrum, mate. There's like, it's crazy. So without really investing properly in your team and coming up, it's very difficult to expect to kind of stay up. I know some teams have done it before. I think last season, I forget who came up and didn't really buy many players. I forget the name of the team. But that Brentford didn't buy loads and loads and loads of players, but stayed up. But Bournemouth don't seem capable of doing that. Team ain't strong enough, not enough depth. Not for me.
Diaz showing that he can use his head. Harvey Elliott with his first goal for Liverpool. I love the way he celebrated. Trent Alexander-Arnold, brilliant performance. Wow. Yeah, did really, really well.
Nine goals, the most Salah don't score or assist.
Mad, isn't it? Mad. I don't know. Fantasy teams.
Only player in my fantasy team that's not done best this week.
I know. Firmino gets. I think he got 2 or 3 assists and 2 goals.
2 goals, yeah. Yeah, and Van Dijk.
Liverpool needed that though, Joe. They needed it because they're under pressure.
Yeah. Van Dijk had a great performance. I mean, you probably saw. Did you see the video that we had on the channel with James Redmond?
Hang on. They won 9-0. He could have been texting all the way through the game. Let's not. Was he under a lot of pressure, Joel? Oh my God!
You have to respond.
Van Dijk had a great performance.
You have to respond. You can only respond with what's in front of you, and they did the job. You're such a hater, man.
He had nothing in front of him. He won 9-0.
If I won 9-0 as a centre back, Joel, I have not played well. I've not had to go out there.
But he scored.
I've not had to go out there and even do my laces up. I'm not at half time. I undo my boots and go out with laces undone, shin pads off, socks rolled down, shirt out, collars up. He could have gone and got
in the pie queue for half of the first half, and no one would have known.
He probably was.
All right, cool. So I'm rattling through some of the results right now. Nottingham Forest 0, Spurs 2. Harry Kane with both goals. Missed a penalty as well. For my word,
he didn't miss a penalty as well. Dean Henderson saved it.
Yeah, well done, Dean Henderson. Waving the hat around.
He ruined my fantasy team. I was winning up until that last goal, man. It killed me.
Is it?
Dean Henderson, right? This is where I think United have screwed up, man. Dean Henderson, I think, has saved 10 out of 18 penalties that he's saved.
Wow.
What I'm saying?
You're saying you want him back? You want him back at United?
I don't think he's going to get back at United after that interview, but yeah, I think he was right in saying that he could have challenged.
Everyone's talking about being good with your feet as a keeper under Ten Hag. Is Dean Henderson good enough with his feet to play for Ten Hag?
His stats are better than worse up to last week.
No, I'm just saying. Forget the stats.
We're signing the keeper to put pressure on him. Why won't you just use the guy you had?
No, with what you see, do you think he's good enough with his feet? Is he much better than David De Gea with his feet?
He's better than De Gea. I wouldn't necessarily put him levels above, but I think he's got that confidence that De Gea's not got. He comes out of his box, he dominates the 6-yard box, which De Gea's never done. And he's out here saving penalties. We might have had an extra trophy if we could have saved some penalties.
Wow. All right, guys. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1. Raheem Sterling getting off the mark. 2 great goals. Harvey Barnes scoring for Leicester. Ree, what did you think of Sterling's performance?
He needed that. I spoke to Thomas Tuchel the other day. I'd done an interview with him the other day. It'll be coming out soon. And he was saying that it's just a matter of time before Raheem scores. We need him to score. He's going to be one of our main goal getters, and we need him to get a goal as soon as possible. So he got his wish. And he was talking about how good he is and how integral he's going to be for this team. He's got the experience and he understands the winning culture. But Raheem looks happy there, man. He looks really happy enjoying his football. And I think the big thing for Chelsea is they went down to 10 men as well. Conor Gallagher got sent off early in the game, so they played a big chunk of that game with 10 men. And so they showed the right spirit and character, especially after getting beat 3-0 the week before against Leeds. So it's a big game for them, but they come through it. And Raheem, I think for them, they probably didn't want anyone else if they was going to get a player of 2 goals to get them other than Raheem Sterling. So they got their wishes this week.
Yeah, good performance. Brighton 1, Leeds 0. Pascal Gross still doing his thing. Steve, you kept going on about this one in the group. Aston Villa 0, West Ham 1. Fornals with a goal. Steve, what was you crying about in the group yesterday? Go on, talk to us.
I'm crying. One, his brother, and he got a text yesterday as well saying, sort your shit out. His brother's out here defending him. Micah Richards. Yeah, Anton. Micah Richards is out here defending him. Both of them like, oh, I believe Stevie's going to turn it around. Shut up, you pair of dicks, right? Why is Steven Gerrard getting different treatment to anyone else? What has he done in his career that makes you believe he can turn it around? Oh, he won in Scotland, did he? Cool. Well, I'm 9th in Cheshire Division 2. Why don't I get a Premier League job as well? It's about the same level, right? What's going on with the attitude in I believe Steven Gerrard can turn it around? I'm going to pull out a quote from Micah Richards last season talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? This is after we've lost to City away 2-0, right? Which is not the worst result you're ever going to hear, is it? 2-0 away to City. It's one of those. Here's what Micah Richards says. Managers get sacked for these sort of performances. Something has to give. Let's be real. Another manager could do a better job. Now, what I'll say is Steven Gerrard has got a lower win rate at Villa than Dean Smith had, and he had a lower win rate at Rangers than Van Bronckhorst had. So why do people think that Steven Gerrard is a good manager? Because the evidence suggests otherwise. And he's had a lot of money spent, and that Villa squad is infinitely better than the one Dean Smith had. Infinitely better.
Steve, it's still August though. Let him at least settle down, put his feet underneath the table, bruv. Like, yes, they've spent a lot of money, but
give
the guy till October or something like that.
You're not acting like that. It's still August when you're buzzing about being top of the league.
That's because we've had a good pre-season as well, mate. That's because we've had a good pre-season as well. That's what
counts. I think he needs time. He's invested. They've allowed him to invest. I think he needs a bit of time. Whether he's going to be good enough, he'll be judged on that in the coming weeks and months. But I think to think that you're going to allow someone to spend the amount of money that he's spent at the football club, and then after a couple of weeks, start of the season, go, oh, he's not good enough. I think that's too quick. It's too soon.
It's ridiculous. But you know, Steve's got this agenda anyway. Just because he's
you get rid of him now. You get a competent manager in like Steve Bruce, and you actually manage to stay up because he's going to take you down on the form that he's in. Speaking of idiots, right? Simon Jordan and Graham Souness are on TalkSport this second trying to besmirch the good name of Lisandro Martinez, saying that someone like Van Dijk's going to target him at set pieces. Excuse me, you pair of idiots. Van Dijk had the opportunity to target him at set pieces last week.
Yeah, we did. I think it's more about the strikers and number 9s targeting him than Van Dijk. It's the strikers. Forget set piece, the centre halves at set piece. I think it's more about.
You can't completely forget that though, because you saw what happened when he did come up against the centre half though. So,
no, but what I'm saying is even Van Dijk can't target him. Van Dijk can't target him. Van Dijk has to deal with who's marking him. You don't want to put Varane on him.
Yeah, but they might switch it up though. They did it already against you guys.
No, but Van Dijk can't say I'm going to target Martinez. He's not a centre forward. He's a centre half.
I think he means
he also didn't a week ago.
Yeah, he had a week ago to do it. They got beat 2-0. Bosh.
All right, cool. So Brentford drawing 1-0 with Everton. Like Antony Gordon, man. If he's not doing it for them, who does? Do you know what I realized quickly, guys? I was having a go at the fact that Chelsea are willing. It looks like they're willing to pay 60 mil, 65 mil for Antony Gordon. I had to realize that to me, he's not worth 65 million. But to Everton, he probably is, So I'm starting to understand that now. If I'm to be really honest with you,
he's a local kid, a fan's favourite now. If they do lose him, where do they go? And I think that's what Frank and Everton are saying. Unless he's in the 60s in terms of 60 million, there ain't nothing in that deal for us to go out and replace him. And I think, like I said before, the finances nowadays, is he worth 60 million? Probably not right now. Could he eventually be that? Potentially, he's got a chance to do that. But this kid, he's the crown jewels at Everton at the moment, and they don't want to see him go because what that would do maybe for the morale at the football club and the fans in the stadium. So it's difficult, but if he wants to go, he's got to go in there and show the balls to go to the manager and to the chairman. I want to leave, and then see how they deal with that.
Who'd you take, Rio? 65 mil, Antony Gordon, or Antony for 85 million pounds? What'd you go for there?
I'll take Antony. He's played at a higher level in terms of Champions League, and he's set. I think he had 5 assists last year in Champions League. He's got potential. He's played more football. So I'd go for Antony right now.
Okay.
On the Gordon being worth so much as well, he's worth that to him because with your mate in charge there at Everton, if he goes, they are looking at different set of fixtures next season.
Steve, you are something. You're relentless, aren't you?
You know what?
Would you sack someone in August as a chairman?
If they're putting the sort of performances they're doing now, yeah. Where's the belief that they're going to turn this around? What are you seeing that's going to make them? Not only that, he's been here since November. So we saw what we saw last season. He had a little bit of a new manager bounce.
You'd have 8 managers
way worse than Gary Neville's. Gary Neville retired from management on a better record than this.
You'd have 8 managers a season, the way that you're talking.
Nah. You've got to back the right manager. The wrong decision. I shouldn't have put the Lampard and Gerrard debate for how good they were as footballers is exactly as intense for how bad they are as managers.
All right, cool. Listen, final results so the smaller teams don't get onto us. Wolves drawing 1-1 with Newcastle. St. Maximin with an amazing goal. Never scoring for Wolves. St. Maximin, can he do it against the smaller teams? You heard the answer this week. Yes, he can. Guys, thank you very much for watching Vibe with 5. We've got a special one coming out for you. Adebayor has agreed to come and speak with us. So please look forward to seeing this video on a Wednesday. We've got the new show with David Ornstein. Amazing stuff going on. We've actually got Everton versus Liverpool happening on the weekend. We will be speaking to James Redmond. Rio is going to be giving us his insight once we officially get a signing from Antony. So you've got loads of videos to look forward to. Stephen Howson might join us if he decides to you know what I mean.
Are we in the studio after we beat you next week?
Oh, I can't wait.
I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do, but please make sure you like.
I want to be close to you. If we beat you, I want to be close and uptight and personal.
I told you, I'm
sunglasses,
ready, man.
Yeah. Are we doing sunglasses?
I'm doing everything, mate.
Yeah. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Vibe with 5. We will be back soon. Peace.